Hi, I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and today we're going to be talking about the Springfield Armory Kuna. We were able to get some in for sale and for stock, and of course we wanted to do a review because I think the firearms industry as a whole gets pretty excited about something that is specifically designed for a compact package suppression in something like 9mm, 45, things like the Chris Vector, the MP5, the MP7, those kind of things. The firearms industry really likes the kind of those cool guy rifles, or pistols in this case. So the Kuna is a brand new introduction, imported by Springfield but manufactured by HS Produkt, and it has quite a lot of features, so let's get into it. For starters, this uses an AR pattern grip, so you can change those to different AR-15 pistol grips if you like, but it does have kind of proprietary controls. They are in the same spots as you would find a normal AR-15, but they are not parts compatible. So you do have an ambi safety, a flat trigger shoe, and then a full ambi set of controls. There's an ambi mag release, an ambi bolt catch and release on both sides of the firearm, and they're all in just about the same spots that you would be used to for an AR pattern rifle. It does ship either with or without a folding pistol brace. This is manufactured by Strike Industries. It's very rigid, and the folding mechanism works quite well. Just looking at it, you would think it would look like SIG's folding mechanism where you lift to release and fold, and then you can just pull it open. However, it does lock in both positions. So you have to lift on the mechanism to fold the brace. You have to lift on the mechanism to open the brace. Should be noted. So a little bit about the grip and kind of the lower receiver. The upper is what is serialized, very similar to some B&T products, this part up here, whereas the lower is a polymer piece that really just houses your fire control group. So this has the exact same texture as the Hellcat and Hellcat Pro and the Echelon, which is, it's not bad looking, but it's kind of smooth, especially in a larger rifle, two-handed operating platform. I would have liked to have seen that more aggressive. I know they can do it. They make Echelon grip frames with aggressive grip texture, and this just feels kind of slick. You go outside, your hands start sweating first, and you start to kind of lose purchase on it. If you grab it really hard, it'll grab you, but it could be more aggressive, especially in this type of platform. I think that aggressive grip texture would have been maybe a better move. Up from there, you do have M-LOK rail under these panels. It does ship with the cover panels installed here, but if we pop these off, there's M-LOK slots under there. And then we have a roller delayed blowback system, which is awesome. I think putting 9mm in a gun of this package and making it purely direct blowback with a heavy bolt mass is it kind of sucks, really, because you end up with a gun that just has a lot of recoil. And the potential for a lot of gas if you're going to run a suppressor, whereas a roller delayed system is really intended to function in this size of gun, just like the MP5. That is what made the MP5 famous, was that roller delayed system, how well it suppressed, and how good it feels to shoot full auto, and that is because of a roller delayed blowback operating system, which the Kuna has. Moving up from there, you do have a full-length Picatinny rail. It does not come with the optic, but we did mount a Holosun ARO for the review. It has a set of, they call them hybrid sights. So if you look closely, you do have a set of almost pistol iron sights, very similar to what you see on the Hellcat series. You have a white U-notch rear and then just a square single dot front. And then they do flip up into more standard rifle or submachine gun sights. You have a ghost ring rear, and then you have an adjustable front. The rear is adjustable for windage. Intention behind that is kind of like the MP7, which has very similar sights, that you would run it in its most compact form, right? You'd have it on a single point sling under some form of trench coat if you're working in the Secret Service or something like that, and a shorter magazine with no suppressor, no optic. So it's as compact as humanly possible. And you could present this with the single point and get a few shots off with those pistol iron sights semi-accurately. And then when you had a moment, you could flip to the more usable iron sights and go to work. So it has a very similar set of sights on this platform here. Now this does have a non-reciprocating folding charging handle, which is very nice. It appears as though this would work very similar to like a B&T GHM, where when we remove the bolt, you can pull this back and swap the charging handle to the other side. They do market the gun as full ambi. I don't see why that would not be the case. It's very obviously cut on the other side to accept the charging handle. Then you have a forged half 28 barrel that comes with a big muzzle brake on the end of it. We did shoot it with the muzzle brake a little bit. It does help with the recoil, just as most muzzle brakes do. It seemed to work fine. We definitely wanted to get a suppressor on this thing, so we have the Griffin Armament Sportsman 36 on this 9mm, and it shot very well. Even shooting quick, it really did not gas me out at all. 9mm is pretty low pressure anyway, but on like my AKV, that thing will start gassing me after maybe 10 rounds of rapid fire, which this did not, and I do believe that's because of the operating system. I would argue that it does compete with things in the same class, like an MP5, MP7, several B&T products. Though I understand a lot of those would have more of the cool factor because you've seen them in video games and movies and they're in service in militaries. I understand. I'm not saying this is a one-to-one comparison to those guns, but it is an actual competitor. It is actually designed to fit into that platform or that feature set, unlike just the Glock mag AR pistol in 9mm. Where that is very clearly just an AR-15 that we jammed some different stuff into to make it work with 9. This is designed around the 9mm. It works well, and Springfield, I feel, has done a very good job at introducing good competitors. And for the price point you are paying to get something that really does compete with those other guns is pretty noteworthy, in my opinion. Now, I understand it's not the exact same thing, okay? This is not an MP7. Don't jazz me in the comments. It is well designed, well thought out, and does compete directly. Unlike, again, those AR pattern 9mm ones, which will sometimes work, but they don't have the same vibe as something like this, which can directly compete. This thing was 100% reliable for what we shot. It was very accurate. The recoil impulse was low. The trigger press is a little mushy, but on a subgun, I don't necessarily hate that. I wouldn't want 5.5 two-stage trigger. The reset is very short and heavy, almost Glock-esque. It really does kick your finger forward, which was nice for getting off some follow-up shots. I only had maybe 2 complaints, and they are around the magazine more than anything. Everyone was kind of wanting this to be CZ Scorpion mags. While the CZ Scorpion might not be the best subgun out there, the magazines are awesome. There's so many different platforms that utilize CZ Scorpion mags instead of whatever proprietary made by whomever magazine. However, these are proprietary. These fit specifically the Kuna and nothing else. You have to buy Kuna magazines if you want spares. There is a reason for that. This was kind of designed for the Brazilian market, and they used predominantly 40 Smith & Wesson. They had to make a magazine that would accommodate 40 and then size it down to chamber this in 9mm for the US civilian market. So that is why they are proprietary. I understand we all wanted CZ Scorpion mags. My subgun shoots CZ Scorpion mags. So does Tristan's, because they are arguably one of the best, if not the best, submachine gun magazines. These are not CZ Scorpion mags, but they seem to work very well. There's a very similar feel to them. Very nice kind of thick-walled polymer. They do have metal feed lips, and they seem to load and feed perfectly. So I wouldn't say there would be a problem with these, but they are proprietary. The magazines, when you first get them, do not want to fall free. You'll hit that mag release, and they're not going to just shoot out the bottom. You do occasionally have to strip them. Not always, but a lot of the time you do. The magazine, it has this ribbed portion up at the top for some reason. When you try to feed the magazine in at maybe too steep of an angle, it's going to want to get caught on those in the mag well and kind of hang up your reload. You do need to come at it kind of straight from the bottom like with an AR-15 magazine. Other than that, this thing is exciting. It's exciting. There's a lot of stuff coming out right now from different manufacturers, and it seems like people are actually designing things that we have wanted for some time now. Not just another AR 9mm, not just another basic handgun. We're actually getting some companies turning out cool products, and this is one of them. Guys, that is the review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. In addition, we do have an Instagram at OE Outfitters. Go over there. If you like what you see, please give us a follow. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.